Now, this isn't something you've been told by your doctor, dietitian, or trainer. In fact, most people have no idea that this is what actually happens to fat when you lose it. So let me explain. Most people believe that when you lose fat, it magically melts away, turns into energy, or somehow gets sweated out at the gym. But the truth is far more surprising and rooted in science. What really happens to fat when you lose it is something that even many health professionals get wrong. So let's dive deep into this fascinating process that your body goes through when you start shedding those extra pounds. First, it's important to understand that body fat is stored in fat cells as molecules called triglycerides. These triglycerides are made up of 3 fatty acid chains bound to a glycerol backbone, and they are stored in adipose tissue throughout your body. This is your body's way of stockpiling energy for later use, a survival mechanism that dates back to ancient times when food was not always available. But when you go into a calorie deficit, meaning you burn more calories than you consume, your body starts to dip into those fat reserves for energy. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When your body needs energy and turns to your fat stores, it doesn't just burn fat in the way that we might casually say. What actually happens is a complex biochemical process called lipolysis. During lipolysis, the triglycerides in your fat cells are broken down into their building blocks, glycerol and free fatty acids. These are then released into your bloodstream and transported to tissues like your muscles and liver, where they undergo another process known as beta oxidation. This process ultimately converts the fatty acids into usable energy for your body to function. But wait, if fat is used for energy, where does it actually go? Here's the part that blows most people's minds. The vast majority of the fat you lose is exhaled through your lungs. Yes, really. A 2014 study published in the British Medical Journal by physicist Ruben Meerman and Professor Andrew Brown calculated the exact pathway. They found that 84% of fat is converted into carbon dioxide, CO2, and exhaled through your breath. The remaining 16% is turned into water and leaves the body through urine, sweat, tears, and other bodily fluids. In simpler terms, when you lose fat, you're literally breathing it out. You exhale your weight loss. You don't turn fat into muscle. This discovery not only debunks many myths but also emphasizes the role of your respiratory system in fat metabolism. You don't sweat out fat. You don't just burn it away like paper in a fire. Instead, you exhale most of it, which means that even something as simple as breathing is directly involved in the fat loss process. In fact, to metabolize 10 kilograms of human fat, you need to inhale 29 kilograms of oxygen. This metabolic process produces 28 kilograms of CO2 and 11 kilograms of water. That's how your body gets rid of fat. It's not magic, it's chemistry. This also highlights why physical activity is so essential in fat loss. The more you move, the more oxygen your body requires, which increases your breathing rate. The more you breathe, the more CO2 you release, and the more fat you lose. This is why exercises like walking, running, and strength training that elevate your heart rate and breathing are so effective for fat burning. But let's be clear, just breathing more won't make you lose weight. You must still be in a calorie deficit for fat loss to happen. Breathing out fat is the end result of a much larger chain reaction that starts with proper nutrition, regular movement, and consistent effort. Another common misconception is that muscle turns into fat or fat turns into muscle. That's not scientifically possible. Muscle and fat are 2 entirely different tissues with different functions and cellular structures. However, during a weight loss journey, you can lose fat and simultaneously build muscle if your training and nutrition are on point, which is often referred to as body recomposition. When this happens, you may not see a dramatic change on the scale because muscle is denser than fat, but your body shape, strength, and metabolism will all improve significantly. Also, let's talk about spot reduction. You've probably seen ads promising to help you burn belly fat or tone your thighs by doing specific exercises. Unfortunately, there's no way to target fat loss in specific areas. Fat loss happens systemically, and your genetics largely determine which parts of your body will shed fat first and last. The best approach is to focus on overall fat reduction through sustainable lifestyle changes, healthy eating habits, balanced workouts that include both cardio and strength training, adequate sleep, and stress management. So the next time someone tells you they're sweating off the fat or turning it into muscle, you'll know the truth. Fat doesn't vanish. It goes through a fascinating process of biochemical breakdown and is ultimately exhaled as carbon dioxide. It's not about tricks, gimmicks, or shortcuts. It's about understanding your body and giving it what it needs to work efficiently. It's about working with your body, not against it. When you align your actions with the science of how fat loss really works, you'll not only see better results, you'll also feel more empowered and in control of your health. Understanding this can change how you view weight loss forever. It's not about punishment or deprivation. So stay consistent, stay patient, and remember that every breath you take could literally be a step closer to your goals. Before we go any deeper, now, if you're watching this channel, chances are you're interested in improving your body composition, whether that be losing body fat or gaining muscle mass.